Happy Monday, everyone. Let's take a look at how crypto reacted to the US strike on Iran. Bitcoin fell sub 100,000. Everything else followed, but there were some winners throughout the weekend, believe it or not. Fear and Greed Index almost in the red at a 37 score, even as Bitcoin and Ethereum led the bounce back within 24 hours. Risk assets, per usual, fell as more volatility hit the markets. Memecoins shaved another $10 billion from its $58 billion high of last week. Not all doom and gloom. Like I said, there were winners and they were meme coins. Fartcoin grew 7% throughout the weekend, not caring about any conflict whatsoever. Shout out to Hype also. We also called out to a community. Hype also grew 7% in this last weekend. But the biggest surprise meme coin winner, which is not actually a meme coin, is Circle, the stable coin that's acting like a meme coin. It is close to 10x the IPO price. I am still bitter, but you know what? I hope this goes to the moon and we get tons of adoption. Which is why everyone and their mother is coming out with a stablecoin, even the state of Wyoming. I don't know what's even in Wyoming. Sorry if I've offended anyone there. But Solana and Aptos tied for first place as the best blockchains for Wyoming to launch their stablecoin on. If you want to know how to get up to 12% yields on your stablecoin consistently, click on our podcast because we had amazing guests. The last two actually talked about stablecoins and they are fire. Another IPO to watch out for that's not a stablecoin is US-based OKX Exchange, which is looking IPO alongside Gemini. I would get into these two if you can. If you can't, just buy good old Bitcoin. Grant Cardone, the real estate mogul, has bought 1,000 Bitcoin. That's $1 billion in today's Bitcoin price. He's looking to add 3,000 to 5,000 more Bitcoin to his real estate company. So his real estate company is deploying the Sailor strategy, the Bitcoin strategy, being the first real estate firm to do so in the United States. And there I quote, combining the two best class assets, which is one real estate and two Bitcoin. And I can't argue with that. If you want exposure to both, then maybe buy into Grant Cardone's funds or private equity, or if he's in the market, something to look into. Either love or hate AI and or Sam Altman. He has a cult-like following or a haters following, but Reddit is looking to incorporate his iris scanning orb to verify users on Reddit. This is backed by his own blockchain WorldCoin, which has raised over $200 million this last 2 months, but it didn't do much for the price action of WorldCoin. Not many people know that there is even a blockchain that Sam Altman is running. Only 16 of the supply is circulating. If this was fully diluted, I imagine news like this will pump it up. Keep an eye on this when the supply gets fully unlocked. Also, Sam Altman's looking to raise more money than God. I definitely see this WorldCoin being around for a long while. If you didn't know, Pudgy Penguins ran the NASDAQ bell alongside Van Eck Fund. And they're on the center of Times Square. Nothing to do with Pudgy itself, but their Matt Bartlett, which we brought in as a guest twice here on our podcast, is notably a Web3 enthusiast, and he runs the Van Eck Web3 arm along with the funds within that crypto side of the world, and he loves Pudgy Penguins. I also think this is an amazing flex. Which other NFT art is featured on the NASDAQ bell? So I look forward to when Pudgy does this themselves. In other meme coin news, remember last week we talked about Gorbanganza, which is the new layer 1 competing with Solana, which is actually just a meme coin. Water up 32% to 45 million. Useless meme coin, which is actually useless, is up 12% to $110 million. If you want to know how these trenches are moving, click on the link down below, because even though the macros are down, there is still stuff popping off. If you watch this far, then you must love us, because we talk about NFTs at the end. And right now we are seeing NFTs fall alongside the macro. Punk's falling from 120 to 85. Once it gets to the 75,000 mark, we're going to make my colleague here, Brian, buy one live stream. So tune in for when that happens. NFTs are making a comeback in a slightly different way with Telegram that has their own blockchain called Ton. They did $10 million in sales just a few days ago, with Pudgy Penguins and Bored Apes pulling in $2 million each. CEO of Pudgy Penguins had this to say about Telegram stickers. He said, and I quote, "What NFTs did for Ethereum and meme coins did for Solana, Telegram stickers would do for Ton." So we're seeing a lot of money flow into that, and you can actually make some money on it. You get to own these stickers outright, print them on chain, and transfer them in the future. These are the best time to trade risk assets, when there's volatility and when there's fear in the market. There are multiples to be had. You can't say the same for Bitcoin. It's moved 5% up and down, even with the rumor of war in the air. It doesn't move it that much anymore, but you can make multiples in the trenches. So if you want to see what we're doing on a daily, click on the link down below. Join us, subscribe, follow along, because regardless, we got 3 market updates for your weekly amazing podcast and a weekly rundown. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.